game against TTC Ghost, the coach of the Genova Giratinas. So, if we go ahead, take a look at the replay. I did post a team builder, should have gone up yesterday, but let's go over this team real quick. A mainly physically defensive Mega Venusaur, which is speed crept to outspeed a non-invested Cresselia, so I can toxic that thing before it gets behind a sub, if it is sub. We have Scarf Crocodile, change that from the team builder, helps me deal with Cobalion, and really helps with Pursuit dropping Cress, and dealing with Toxpex, and is good for Terrakion as well. We have a physically defensive Sylveon with enough speed to outspeed non-invested Smeargle / Delibird, I guess. Just good for Wish Pass, and really good switch into Mega Sableye pretty much every time. Next up we do have a Lowland Persian, which is going to be my lead this match. He did bring the Smeargle, which is kind of spooky because that means he's probably going to set up webs against me, so not super fun. So I want to taunt that thing so at least it can't do it at first turn, and if he leads with something else we can just parting shot out and we should be fine. Next up we have an Exploud, because I wanted a good reliable way to just do a crap ton of damage to the Toxapex. And Exploud does that great, just regular specs. Every time this mon is in, it's going to be clicking Boom Burst, as his normal resist is Terrakion. And then finally we do have a mainly physically defensive Celesteela, sub-autotomize Heavy Slam Earthquake. The main point of this guy is to sub on a Sableye Wisp after it's Mega'd, obviously, and then it is EV to get the attack boost and try and sweep his team. It's got enough coverage to hit everything at least pretty hard, and that's pretty much it. So this first turn, I'm going to want to definitely, like I said, lead it with Lowland Persian, because most likely, if he has a Smeargle, he's going to lead with it. So let's go ahead and get right into the match. As you can see, he leads Sableye, which is the one thing I really don't like leading against a Lowland Persian with, because I do have Play Rough on this Persian. That's another change I made from the team builder. But it's not going to be doing too much, because as I am timid, it was just something so I could kind of hit the Sableye, and I can't parting shot because actually, if he Mega Evolves and I parting shot, it actually bounces him out and gives me the parting shot effects. So I'm not going to want that, so I'm like, okay, I believe right here I do go into my Sylveon. That's exactly what happens, and he does not Mega, he actually just goes straight for the Will-O-Wisp. First turn Mega is a rule, so he is technically against the rules right here. Alright, so after that happens, I feel like pretty good chance to go for a Hyper Voice. He can go into the Toxapex and basically wall me out, but that does give me an opportunity to go honestly into my Exploud, because Toxapex is very weak, and if I get a free switch into Exploud, that'll be pretty nice. So as you can see here, we're going to get hurt by the burn, and we're going to go straight for the Hyper Voice, as he does go into the Toxapex. Actually, we set a wish. When you wish upon a star, which is good. Since we set up a wish, yeah, because the Sableye is not going to want to stay in on my Sylveon, so I do set up a wish, which means I will get a free switch in to my Exploud. I don't want to go into Crocodile, not because I'm worried about the Scald, but because I don't want to be burnt. As he sets up a layers of Toxer Spikes, I'm not too worried about that. I do have a Mega Venusaur to get rid of those really easy. So we do go for these Specs Boomers, do a crap ton to this Toxapex. We find out it's mostly physically defensive. Obviously we can't tell for certain, but it's probably physically defensive Toxapex, which makes sense. So there's no reason for us not to go for another Boom Burst here. So we're just going to go ahead and go for that. He liquidates, and we're actually a pretty bulky Exploud. Obviously, max special attack modest, but we are mostly HP invested. We have enough speed to outspeed something. I don't remember. So that does nothing to us, especially due to Toxapex's very low attack. So we can eat those up 4 days, and we're just going to go for another Boom Burst, as he's going to go for the Painful Bunker to get back a little bit of Black Sludge. And then he's going to go into his Cresselia, I do believe, right here. No, yeah, that's right. He just sacks off his Cinccino. That dies. Goodbye. So Cinccino's out of the way. That's good. And then he goes into his Smeargle, and I figure, alright, this is a perfect opportunity to go into my Venusaur. 1, it'll get rid of the Toxic Spikes. 2, if he tries to go in for a Spore, we are going to be able to block that perfectly. And if he sets up the sticky webs, it's whatever. Can't prevent it at this point. I don't feel my team is too hampered by sticky webs. He doesn't really have... I mean, Terrakion outspeeds my entire team outside of Crook anyways, except for Alolan Persian, but can't do that too much to that thing anyways. So that's that. So I go into Venusaur as he goes ahead and sets up his webs. So, oh well. Now, right here, this is funny. So I'm thinking, okay, this thing is probably Sash, so I'm just going to try and break its Sash. I'm just going to go for Giga Drain. I'm not sure what he wants to do. He may want to Taunt Pass. He's probably just going to switch out into his Toxapex, honestly, because it can pretty well wall me. I mean, it can't do much to me, but it can wall me. Or he may go into choose Cresselia, so I'm just going to Giga Drain here. If he stays in, I get damage on it. As he actually pulls out...
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you.
As you're going to see here, the Belly Drum. And we can Giga Drain, and we knock that thing right out. So, he told me after the match, his plan was to Belly Drum on Smeargle, and Baton Pass into Terrakion with webs up. He says he won. I don't think he did. I don't agree with that prep, because if I brought Mimikyu, I could obviously eat a hit with my Disguise, sweep over, you lose. But, and not to mention, Smeargle just did not have opportunities to set up on my team at all. My entire team can beat that, except for maybe a Alolan Persian, but I can taunt it, so... I feel like it was a bad bring on that part, but I guess it was fun, so... unfortunately, Smeargle isn't going to work out for him, as I do Giga Drain. Mega Venusaur gets his first kill of the season, as did Xbound, by the way. So he goes into Cresselia. Now, I did specifically EV this Venusaur to be able to outspeed a non-invested Cresselia, so I'm just going to hit this thing up with the Toxic, because if it starts going for Calm Minds, I don't want to have to rely on hitting that thing for damage. I just want to be able to stall it out, as he goes for a Calm Mind. Now, I'm hoping here, because I do have two Dark types on my team, I figured he'd probably have a Fairy type move, but he probably wouldn't go for it right here, so I'm like, okay, I just want to start stalling things out for damage, to rack up toxic damage, so I figure, alright, I'm going to go into a Alolan Persian here, yep, and then try and catch him on the Psychic, because he's either probably going to want to Calm Mind again here, or he's going to want to try and Psychic my Venusaur since I stayed in the first turn. And that's exactly what he does. And now here, I want to scout for the Moonblast, because if he had Moonblast, he can just take me out. So I do go here into the Celesteela, just to kind of scout. As you can see, we go into Celesteela, and he actually switches out, which pretty much confirms that he does not have Moonblast, which means he is walled completely by my Crocodile and my Alolan Persian, which is fantastic. I imagine it probably has Toxic, but it's not quite enough, so that thing is not really a threat anymore. Anyway, now I now have Celesteela, which is my Terrakion counter, other than Mega Venusaur, against my Terrakion, so I have no reason. I decided to go, I did the calcs, Heavy Slam is not going to Oko this thing, so I figure might as well Earthquake, because it will 2 KO this thing, as well as if he wants to switch into the Toxapex, I will be able to get a lot of damage on that, because I figure he might want to switch that in to get Regenerator back, so do go for the Earthquake, as he goes for the Continental Crush, and that does a good amount to me, for sure, but thankfully we do live that, because we are very physically bulky, and now here, I figure he's probably going to go for Close Combat, probably. He could go for Stone Edge as well, but that can miss, so he's probably going to go for the Close Combat, try and take me out. So I figure I'm going to go into my other Terrakion counter, Mega Venusaur, and we're going to take that Close Combat like it is nothing. So now we're free to fire off another Giga Drain. Here I'm pretty sure he goes into his... oh, he goes into a Sableye. Now this is a scary, scary Pokemon. Like I said, first turn Mega is enforced, but he didn't know that. I didn't know that at the time of the match. So for now, he, for the majority of this match, is not Mega, and so he's able to get Prankster hit off. So I do go into my Sylveon right here, because Sylveon is my Sableye counter. But I find out I actually lose quite a bit of momentum going into this, because he can start Calm Minding on me, and then my Hyper Voices aren't going to do very much at all, because this is a very specially defensive Sableye. So, and I am not invested, so he can easily recover stall me. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into the Celesteela, because this was kind of supposed to be my counter. Here, I realize I kind of messed up, because he can Dark Pulse. Well, I'm going to try and sub here, to see just what attack move it has. So he's gonna finally Mega. I forced him to Mega, which is fantastic. I figure right now he needed to Mega because this thing could definitely have Toxic. If I Toxic that thing, it was basically the same as his Cresselia. It was worthless. So he had to Mega there so he could bounce back any potential Toxics or Leech Seeds. But I don't. I just go for the Substitute to scout for whatever damaging move this thing has. He actually just goes for the Calm Mind. So this thing no longer has Prankster, which makes it a lot easier to deal with because it can't get Prankster recovers off, so I just need to weaken this thing. So I have no reason not to go for the Heavy Slam, do a good amount of damage, as he reveals the Dark Pulse, breaks my sub. Now, at this point, I can outspeed and kill him with another Heavy Slam, but I figure he's going to want to save this thing, right? So I decide, what is he going to go into? Either the Toxapex or the Cresselia, right? So I decide to go into my Alolan Persian, because I can taunt both of those things and shut them down. And then even if he had went for another Dark Pulse, Alolan Persian could easily eat that, and then kill it with a Play Rough. So either way, it was a pretty safe play on my end, just preserving differential. So, and just trying to keep up momentum against me. So I do go into my Alolan Persian, and it does look like, yes, we do get that read right. He goes into the Toxapex, and we're going to do exactly what we said. We're going to taunt this thing, so it does not, it can't recover up, it can't Toxic me, and he actually just liquidates. And see, I'm a max HP, and then Fur Coat, which means Persian is very physically bulky, and Toxapex is very weak. So clearly that's not going to do very much. It does 14%. And so now I'm just good to Parting Shot out. If he stayed in, that's fine. I can just go into my X-Plot then and just blow something back. Or, of course, if he switched out, we get momentum. So, good play. He does switch out here, and he goes into his Cresselia, which is perfect, because now I can Parting Shot out, as I finally bring in my Crocodile. Now I figure, okay, Cresselia is like the only way he's winning this match. So I figure he's going to switch out here, so I'm like, okay, let's go for the Pursuit. Even if he's revealed that he doesn't, or I'm pretty sure he doesn't have Moonblast. He probably has Toxic to hit me, so I'm pretty free to just go spam Pursuit. So that's exactly what I do. I am Scarf, so it's not going to be super hard hitting, but it's going to be something. And unfortunately, he doesn't switch out, and we are not able to get very much damage off on that thing, but it's something. So we are going to start whittling that thing down with Toxic. Now, here I don't really want to just start getting Toxic stalled down with Moonlight and stuff. I figure there's no reason for me not to go into Sylveon, because this thing can't do anything to me. It could Toxic me, but I'm already burnt, and this is the perfect opportunity, since I do have Heal Bell on the Sylveon, to just Heal Bell off all my status, and then Wish Pass into something and just win. Because right now, it's pretty obvious I'm going to win this match. All the momentum is in my favor. His plan of Belly Drum pass into Terrakion plus Webs did not go as planned, and so I don't really see much way he can win this match, so I'm trying to preserve the 6-0, so that's what we're going to try and do. So here, I go into Sylveon, he just goes for the Moonlight, makes sense. I am going to, I believe, throw a Wish up right now, if I remember correctly, as he goes into his Toxapex. No, that's right. I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to Heal Bell off. I get to heal my burn and the Crocodile's poison, so that's pretty nice. And now this guy can't do anything. He's a Toxapex, so I'm pretty sure I just set up a Wish, as he actually tries to predict me, probably going into my, I don't actually know. Sableye died to everything on my team at this point, so I don't know what he was predicting. He's predicting something, one of my switch outs, but I just go for a Wish, and here I can just Hyper Voice, kill the Sableye. Sableye's dead. That's cool. As you can see, like his team is just awkward, because he got the Cinccino, and then he's got the Stall Core of Cresselia, Toxapex, Mega Sableye, and then he does have the Terrakion. So it's whatever. So we do have Sylveon does take out the Sableye, and so now Sylveon basically just beats the entire rest of my team, or rest of his team. He does go into the Terrakion. I am physically defensive. I can eat any hit this thing goes for, even if it is banded, so I figure we're pretty safe to, as you can see, it does nothing. We needed to reveal who was a Z Crystal anyway, so he couldn't be banded. Ironhead, as you can see, doesn't even 2-hit KO, so even if he flinched me, would have been fine. I can Hyper Voice, take this thing out. And now he just has the Cresselia and Toxapex, and I do have a Alolan Persian with Taunt, which basically beats both of those outright. So I'm just going to try and get a Wish into my X-Cloud, because it can I just want it safely in so it can't die to any of Toxapex's hits. If it does burn me with... Wait, it doesn't have Scald, it has Liquidation, so it couldn't have even burnt me. I go ahead and Protect because there's no point in not getting more health on this thing when it can't do anything to me. So I finally I just Wish Up again as he goes into the Cresselia, and I figure, okay, went into the Crook last time, and we saw it wasn't really doing much. So I'm going to opt to go into my Persian instead, because I can taunt this thing and foul play it down as he starts, because I don't want this thing to be able to Calm Mind and potentially win, though it probably won't. So I'm just going to taunt this thing straight out, as it has revealed it doesn't have Moonblast, and as you can see, he just tries to Toxic me. And here I can just Parting Shot out, as he actually does go into his Toxapex, and this is the perfect opportunity for me to go into my Exploud and just blow something back. So here we do go into Exploud, and we just click Specs Boom Burst, and does 82% because Exploud's ridiculous. Liquidation does nothing, especially after the Intimidate from Parting, or not Intimidate, but Parting Shot down. So he Baneful Bunkers, but he doesn't have... he does have Black Sludge, but it's not going to save him. As you can see, Boom Burst, that's going to take out the Toxapex, and now Cresselia can't do anything to me. He can start Calm Minding, I guess, but I do have an Olden Persian, so I'm just going to Boom Burst. I don't see any reason not to. As you can see, Psychic isn't a 2-hit KO, but I'm not going to have him... I'm not going to risk him critting. I don't want to risk that. As you can see, he does outspeed me after the Sticky Webs, so I decide no point in not going to my Alolan Persian. Make sure I do get the 6-0, so that's what we do. Go into Alolan Persian, as he just goes ahead and Psychics again, and we can foul play to wrap up the game. And so, first game of the UAPB, Houston Reggie Rockets walk away with a 6-0 win. And that's more than I ever expected. That's amazing. For the MVP of this match, I was debating because basically all of the members pulled their weight, except for maybe Celesteela and Crocodile. But like the members did their jobs. I want to go with Xcloud because it just busted through his team, Toxapex and Cresselia and Cinccino, but Sylveon also did great in just stalling out his team. Mega Venusaur stopped that Smeargle sweep. Alolan Persian was just great at getting momentum and taunting things. I think we're gonna go... I think I gotta go with my man Xcloud. He did great in breaking down this very, very bulky team, and that's what we needed to do. So, Houston Reggie Rockets, I imagine, after this week, is number one in the standings of this 12-man league, because I can't imagine many other people are going to get 6-0s, so at the very least we are going to be tied for number one, which is pretty awesome. Next week we do face the Geelong Torcats, if I do remember correctly, so coached by, I want to say Crimson. Yep, I think it's coached by Crimson Hyper Voice, so tune in then, because that is going to be pretty exciting. I don't expect the 6-0 again. For the people who don't know me, I don't think this means I'm a really good player, because I'm really not. I just got lucky. I feel like he didn't prep his best. Like I said, I don't really agree with him using Belly Drum Smeargle against my team. Didn't really set up against much. So that's the game. Alright, so please check out Ghost, and he was kind of getting down on himself after the game, and I told him he doesn't need to. So check him out. His YouTube link is in the description, along with all the other UAPB coaches, and that's the game. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.